The tax bill just passed the House committee that has provisions on no taxes and tips. This is something President Trump campaigned on and many House Republicans. The reality of the bill is finally here, and I want to break down who qualifies and who doesn't, what are the phase outs, and what are the special rules. I'm Matt Sorensen. Let's build wealth. All right, let's talk about no tax on tips first. And what this is an unlimited above the line deduction. There is no cap on this. It is an above the line deduction. What that means is you get this in addition to taking the standard deduction. You do not have to itemize to get this. In other words, everyone will be able to take this if you qualify. Now, this is only available for 4 years. This is not a permanent tax provision. This will be effective in 2025, which is pretty great, but it expires in tax year 2028. Now, how you qualify for this is you must be a tip worker that's either a W-2 employee or an independent contractor, and the tip must be voluntarily given and in a service or profession where tips are customary. Now, the Treasury Department is going to specify some of these so it's clear whether you qualify or not. One of the interesting things here is this does also apply to independent contractors. You could be maybe a barber or a hairstylist, independent contractor, have your own business, so to speak, but tips are customary, and so you'd be able to take a tip. And under this bill, it would not be taxable. Now, one of the very specific provisions in here is the tip must be customary and voluntary. So if you're in a job that doesn't typically receive tipped income, this isn't going to apply to you. You can't just say, well, let's just call this tipped income so I don't have to pay taxes on it. Well, Congress thought about that and put a restriction on it in the bill. The other thing is the tip must be voluntary. So none of this, well, this percentage is for my service, this percentage is my tip, and you automatically charge it. It must be voluntary. Kind of like the screen when you go to check out and it says add a tip, you have to be able to push no. If you're forced to tip, then it is taxable. Okay, the tip must be voluntary. Now, the last thing here is this does not apply to highly compensated workers or employees, those making more than $160,000 a year. So you cannot use this provision if you are a high income earner, but this is the provision, no cap on it, above the line deduction. You get this whether you itemize or not. It's effective for 2025 and for 4 years. It'll have to be extended at the end of 2028, but that's what we have for tips. All right, now let's talk about overtime and how they're addressing that. They're actually doing it in a very similar way. They're giving you an above the line deduction for qualifying overtime pay. Let's say you made $60,000 during the year and $5,000 of that was overtime pay. You would get a deduction, so your only tax is if you made $55,000. Then you take your standard deduction and any other things that you have, of course, on your tax return. But that's how this will work, above the line deduction. Now, this goes into effect for 2025 as well. This will be on your tax return for this year. However, just like the no tips, it's only available for 4 years, so it'll go away at the end of 2028 unless it is extended. Now, similar to the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime is only available so long as you are not a highly compensated employee making $160K or more a year. If you're highly compensated, this provision does not apply to you. Frankly, a lot of workers that are making more than $60, $70K a year are salaried. Not always the case. So if you're in a job that's salaried, this isn't going to matter to you. This is going to be overtime for hourly workers working more than 40 hours a week where they're getting qualifying overtime pay. That will not be taxable. Now, please make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm breaking down all of the provisions and perks in this tax bill. I've also got a lot of tips on how to save taxes, protect your assets, and build wealth. I'm Matt Sorensen. We'll see you next time.